Good evening, all of you. So, in day 3, we are discuss about Python identifiers, Python variables, and different types of variables in Python, like local variable and global variables. So, after that, we are going to discuss about ID function, and after that, we are going to discuss about reference to the objects in Python. So, these are the topics we are discussing day 3. So now today class we'll go and discuss about in day 4 we'll go and discuss about Python keywords. So we'll go and discuss about today about Python keywords. So what is a keyword in Python? So I think you are studied in C, R, C++, Java. So any programming language. So keyword is a predefined meaning and that meaning cannot be changed. So keyword is a predefined meaning. That meaning cannot be changed. And similarly, you are studied in C programming. The keywords. So what are the keywords are there in Python? So that keywords cannot be used as a variables in our program. For example, you don't use a true. So it is a keyword in Python. You don't use a true as a variable in our program. So that is a point you have to keep it in mind. So in Python, keyword is a predefined meaning and that meaning cannot be going to change. And similarly, it is not authorized to use these keywords as variables. So what are the keywords that are there in the Python? So these keywords cannot be used as a variables in the Python. So these are the different types of keywords in Python. So like true, false, none, and as, asset keyword, and def keyword, class, continue, break, else, finally, else if, del, expect, global, for, if, from, import, raise, try, or, return, pass, non-local, in, not, is, lambda. So these all will be different types of keywords in the Python programming language. So let us see one by one keyword. True. So what is a true indicates? So true represents the boolean value. So it is a true or false. So the true or false indicate as a boolean data type. So next to false, it will be represent the boolean false. So next to none. So none keyword. So this implies a null or void value. So that means in other programming language, void is a data type and it is a empty data type. So void is a empty data type. So whereas in Python you have to use a keyword none. So for printing of nothing, for printing of a nothing, you have to use a void instead of using a void keyword. So void is an empty data type in other programming language. So whereas in Python you have to use a none keyword. So that implies a null or void value. So and similarly the none cannot be a zero, or it cannot be a true, or it cannot be a false. So it will be only none only. So it will print only none only. So it is not a zero, or it is not a true, it is not a zero, or it is not a true. So it will be represented only none only. So next one and. So it is a logical and. So that will be used in other programming language also, and it will be called as a logical and or logical conjunction. And or, so it is a logical or operator in Python, and not it will be a complement. It is a complement operator in Python. So these are the and are and complement operators. So what is and here? So if both inputs are false, or if the both inputs are true, then it will go and return a true, otherwise it is a false. So what is or? So if both inputs are false, then the output is false, then it will go and return true. And what is a complement? So if it is a true, then the output is false. If it is a false, then the output is true. That is a simple complement of the input. If it is a true, it is a false. If it is a false, it is a true. So these are the and uh, and keyword, or keyword, and not keyword. So next one, asset keyword. So what is asset keyword? So the asset keyword is used in debugging. For debugging of the program in Python, you have to use a asset keyword, and it will go check to see if the code is correct or not. So by the asset keyword is going to check if the code is correct or not. For example, if there is a mistake in the code, it will go and raise an assertion error. So for example, if there is a mistake in the code, it will go and raise an assertion error. So it will go and print a simple error message. So the asset keyword is used for debugging tool in Python. And what is the asset keyword? Actually, it will go check it will go check if the code is correct or not. If there is a mistake in the code, it will go and raise an assertion error. Sorry. So next one, in this example, I am writing a is equal 10 and b is equal to 0. Then I want to print a is divided by 0. So I set b not equal to 0. So b value is a 0. So if b not equal to 0, then it will go and print a by b. So that means it will go and print divide by 0 error. So is there any errors in the code? Then asset keyword is going to handle that error, and it will go and display the assertion error. So for that you have to use the asset keyword. So next one, def keyword. So the def keyword is used in Python is to declare the function. So for declaring up a functions in Python, you have to use a def keyword. So def stands for definition, function definition. For example, my function name is my underscore function, and you have to define this function by using a def keyword. So def, and I'm going to define the function. The function name is my underscore function, and followed by a comma b, and c is equal to a plus b, and print c value. So it is called as a calling function. Sorry, a called function, and it is also called as a function definition. So under function, for defining a function in Python, you have to use a def keyword, and this is a calling function. So my underscore function, and I'm passing 10 comma 20. Then I got the output is c equal to a plus b. So that is a 30. So by using a def keyword, you have to define the function. For defining a function, you have to use a def keyword in Python. So next one, class. So what is a class? So it is a collection of variables and methods. So the class is a collection of variables and methods which will be wrapped into a one single unit, is called as a class. So I think you all are know for class diagram. So it contain three sessions. So it contain a class name. So name of the class. For example, I am writing a name of the class is car, and it contain variables. So it contain variables of the class, and it contain methods or functions of the class. So the class is a collection of variables and methods that can be wrapped into a one single unit. So that is called as a class. And similarly, the object blueprint is the class. So the class is a blueprint of the objects. So for example, the syntax is will be a class and followed by class name colon, and you have to declare the variables in the class, and you have to define the functions in the class. So next one, continue statement. So the command is used to end the current iteration, or it will go to continue. It will continue to iterate the uh, next iteration. For example, a is equal to 0, and while a less than or equal to 4 colon, and it will go and increment the a value, and if a is equal to 2, then it will go and continue the next iteration, and it will go and print a value. So that means whenever the a value will be 1, So whenever the a value will be 1, then uh, a is equal to 1. So it is a um, this condition is false, then it will go to print the a value. So next, whenever a is equal to 2 and this condition is satisfied, then it will continue to the next iteration. So that's why it has not printed 2 here. So it has not printed 2 here. So after first iteration, then it will go and print the 1. After second iteration, so the condition is satisfied, then it will continue the next iteration. So without printing that value of variable, it will continue to the next iteration. So the next iteration is 3 less than 4. So after that it will go and check the condition, 3 is equal to 2. If it is false, then it will go and print the a value. And similarly, a is equal to 4, then 4 is equal to 2. This condition is false, then it will print a value, that is 4. Then I got the output is 1, 3 and 4 only. So it will go to skip the second number. Why? Because the condition is satisfied. So if the condition is satisfied, then it will continue to the next iteration. Without printing that value, it will continue to the next iteration. So that is the meaning for continuous statement. So I think you will be already used in the C programming also. So next one is a break statement. So the break statement is used for terminate the loop executions. For terminate the loop execution, you have to use the break statements. So for example, for I in range of 5. So for I in range of 5. So the meaning for range of 5 is it will be accepted the numbers from 0 to 5. So it will go and accept the numbers from 0 to 5. So that is the range of the I value. So if is equal to 3, if is equal to 3, then it will be break the iteration. So whenever the I value is equal to 3, then it will go and break the iteration, and it will be printing end of the execution. So that means for termination of the loops in a programming language, you have to use a break statements. So next one, if condition. So if keyword. So it will be a same as a it will be same as the C programming also. So it is a conditional statements in a programming language. So by using that if condition, you have to check the condition is true or false. If the condition is true, then it will go and print the output. Otherwise, it will be skip the next iteration. For example, in this example, I am taking I is equal to 18, and if 1 less than 12. So if 1 less than 12 colon, then it will go and print I am less than 18. So I am less than 18. So that is a simple if statement. So we'll go discuss all these in the next classes also about the conditional statements and the loop control statements in Python. So next one is else keyword. So when will we use else keyword? So whenever the condition is not satisfied, then it will goes to the next condition or next statement. So in this example, I'm going to check it if number n value is 11 percentile 2 is equal to 0 or not. So if it is equal to 0, then it will go and print even number. Otherwise, else it will print odd number. So that means for printing of a false statements, it is a false block and it is a true block. For if it is a condition is true, then it will go and execute the true block. If the condition is false, then it will go and execute the false block. So this condition or this condition. So but not execute both statements at a time. So next one, else if. So ELIF. So ELIF stands for else if. So for example, by using this else if condition, we will be write the program like else if ladder in C programming. So for example, I am reading the marks from the keyboard. So if you want to read the marks from the keyboard, then you have to use the input function. So by using input function, you have to accept some data from the keyboard or some data from the user, and whatever the data I want to read from the keyboard, that will be converted into integer data type, and the values will be stored into the marks variable. And now I'm going to check it, marks greater than 90. So marks greater than or equal to 90. So if this condition is satisfied, then it will go and print excellent. So if this condition is not satisfied, then it will goes to the else if, and marks less than 90 and marks greater than or equal to 75, then it will go and print very good. So if this condition is false, then it will goes to the else if condition. So marks less than 75 and marks greater than or equal to 60, then it will go and print good. Otherwise, it will go and print average. So for execution of a multi-conditional statements in programming language, you have to use a else if keywords. So next one is a del. So del is used for to delete. So delete a variables in a Python. So by using a del keyword, you have to delete the variables in a Python. For example, I'm declare a is equal to 10 and b is equal to 12 and del a. So I delete the a value. So then it will be deleted. Then print b value. So it will print the b value is 12. So and if you are trying to print a value, so the a value will be already deleted, so that's why it will produce the error. So the error name is called name error. So what is the name error? So name a is not defined. So the a variable is not defined in the programming language. Why? Because you are deleted the a value. So that's why it will go and print a name error. So by deleting a variables in programming, you have to use a del keyword. So next one, try and accept. So these keywords can be used for handling of exceptions in the programming language. So for example, a is equal to 0 and try colon and b is equal to 1 by 0. So the a value is 0, so 1 by 0. Then it will go and accept the accept exception as e. So here exception is a original name. Exception is the original name. So this original name can be alias as a can be renamed as a small e. So by using a as keyword. So by using a as keyword, you have to rename the existing one. So here exception is the existing one. I want rename exception as a small e. So that's why I will print a small e. Then I got the output is a divide by 0 error. So here e indicate that exception. So e is a alias name to the original name exception. So as is a keyword. As is a keyword in Python for a renaming of a variables, you have to use as. So next one, raise. So this keyword is going to raise an exception. So whenever the program is going to it contains any errors, then it will go and raise an exception. So for example, x is equal to hello, and if not type of x is integer type. So if the x value is not type of is a integer data type, then it will go on to print or it will go and raise an exception. So for raising of an exceptions, you have to use raise keyword. So next one, finally. So the finally keyword in C++ as well as Java, the final keyword is going to execute it. So it will go and execute it regardless whether the code having a error or not. So the final one, the finally block is going to execute it at least one time. So if the code contain errors or not, so but the final block is going to execute it at least one time. So that is a finally keyword. So in this example, so a is equal to 10, b is equal to 5, try colon c is equal to b by a. So then I got the exception. It will go and print exception. So the exception is divide by 0, and finally, so the finally will be automatically execute the code, that is finally always executed. So it will going to produce the output finally always executed. So whether the code contain errors or not, but finally block is going to executed compulsory. So next one, for and while loop. So these two are loop control statements in Python. For is a loop control statement in Python, and while is a loop control statements in Python. So for example, list is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the list is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So for I in list, so here I indicate that it will go and substitute the I value 1 for the first time, then it will go and produce the print of I. So for next iteration, it will go and substitute I value is 2. Then if 2 in list, so the 2 is there in the list, yes, it is there in the list, then it will go and print I value, that is a 2. So next one, 3, it will take the 3 from the list and it will go and substitute for 3 in the list, yes, the 3 is there in the list, then it will go and print I, that is a 3. So next value is 4. So the I value is 4 for 4 in a list. Yes, the 4 is there in the list. Then it will go and print 4. So next one, 5. 5 in the list. Yes, the 5 is there in the list. Then it will go and print I value. That is a 5. So next example, while condition. So a is equal to 0. A less than while a less than 5 and print of a, and after that we have to increment the I value. So that means a is equal to 0, 0 less than 5. So 0 less than 5, it is a true, then it will go and print a value, that is a 0. So next increment the I value. So 1 less than 5. So it is a true, then it will go and print the 1. And increment the a value 2, 2 less than 5. It is true, then it will go and print a value. And increment the a value 3, 3 less than 5. It is true, then it will go and print 3. And increment the I value 4, 4 less than 5. It is true, then it will go to print a value. And increment the a value, that is 5, 5 less than 5. So the condition is false. So then it will be come out the block. So next one is import. So import keyword. So the import keyword is used for to import the modules. You have to import the modules, or you have to import your own code, Python code, in the Python programming. So by using import keyword, you have to import all the modules. So in the Python program. So for example, I want import math module. I want import math module. Then I will write this statement import followed by math module. So then I will be use that module name and followed by sqrt. So instead of this module, it contains number of functions. So one of the function is called sqrt function. So if you use functions in the Python, then you should write the module name. So you should write the module name and followed by dot operator and followed by function name. You can access the functions in the inside of the module. So for example, math.sqrt of 25. So math is a module name and sqrt is a function available under the math module. So if you want access, then you have to write math.sqrt followed by number. Then I got the output is square root of 25 is 5. So next one, from module. So previously I imported the entire module in my program. So previously I imported the entire module in my program. So on that module I will be access one functions in the on that particular module. So whereas in this time I will go to import. So I will go and import sqrt from math module. So I will go and import a particular function in a math module. Then you have to use a from keyword. So by using a from keyword, you have to import a particular function in the module. For example, I want import sqrt. So I want import sqrt from math module. So that is the meaning for from math import sqrt. So I want to import sqrt function from math module. So if you want to import sqrt function from math module, then it's not required to use a module name and followed by dot operator. So directly I would write print followed by sqrt followed by 25. So whereas in the previous one, at the time of importing of my module, math module, then I will be write the function math dot followed by sqrt. So whereas now I'm going to import a particular function inside the math module. So that's why I'm writing here import sqrt from math and followed by print sqrt followed by 25. So then I got the output is 5. So next one is as. So I said that as is a alias names. As is a alias name. For writing of alias names in Python, you have to use the as keyword. So for example, import calendar as cal. So calendar is the original name. I'm going to rename as a I'm going to rename or I'm going to alias name for calendar is cal. So where the model calendar is available, now on that model I will use cal alias name. So calendar is a model name and that model will be renamed as a cal. Then I will be use cal dot followed by month underscore name. So then I got the month name, that is May. I hope you'll be understanding what I'm saying. If you have any query, please post your query in the chat box. So up to now, clear. So up to now, clear what you have discussed up to now. So if you have any doubts, please post your query in the chat box. So up to now, are understanding what I am saying up to now? So please share any queries in the chat box. So the chat box will be available only for subscribers. So those who are subscribed to my channel. So the chat box will be enabled. So if anybody wants send a query, you can send through chat box. So now let us continue. As is a alias name. So as is a alias name for the model. For example, uh, calendar is a model name, and this model name I will going to rename as a, or I will go to alias name for calendar is cal. So I'm writing the alias name for calendar is cal. Then I will be use cal dot followed by month underscore name followed by 5. Then I got the output is May month. So next one, pass. So what is the pass here? So for example, the pass keyword is used for example, if you are not interested to defining a class, or if you are not interested to defining a function, or if you are not interested to declare a variables. So at that time you have to write a simple pass. So in this time, in this example, I am not interested to write the class variables and methods. So that's why I'm writing a simple pass. And in this example, I'm not interested to define the function. So then I will write the pass. So the keyword pass is used to execute no code. So you're not going to execute no code, nothing. So if you are not interested to execute a or to define the class or to define the function, then you have to use a pass keyword. So for example, if I write a inheritance concepts, for example, if I write a inheritance concepts like class A, so class A, and I'm not interested to define the class A variables and methods. So then I will write the keyword pass. So I'm not interested to write the or I'm not interested to define a class A. So then you have to use a simple pass keyword. So for that you have to use a pass keyword in Python. So whereas in C programming you don't have a pass keyword, so compulsory you have to define the function. So next one, return statements. So the return keyword. So the return keyword can be used inside of the function definition. So for returning of the values in function definition or called function, you have to use a keyword return statement, return keyword. So then it will go and return the value to the calling function. So it will go and return the value to the calling function, and it will go and print a particular value. So the return keyword can be used in inside of the call function definition or called function. So whereas in a calling function, it does not return any value. So like as a C programming. So in C programming also, the calling function does not have any return value. So whereas in C programming, you have to use the calling function can be terminated by semicolon. So and similarly in C programming, function definition or called function, it contains some body. It contains a body or logic of the program, and on that logic of the program, you have to use written keywords. For returning of any keyword, you have to use written keyword in a programming language. So the written keyword can be used only in function definition or called function only. You don't use written statements in calling function. So that is about written statements and is. So where when will be use the is keyword in Python? So the is keyword determine if two variables refers to the same item. So whenever the two items or two variables will be referred to the same value, then you have to use the is keyword. For example, print x is y. So print x is y. So the x value uh, and y value will be same value here. So determine if two variables refers to the same item. So the x value will be referred to the 5 and the y value will be referred to the 5. So if two variables refer to the same item, then you have to use the is keyword. So in this time I'm using is x is y. So both values contain same value. So that's why it will go return output is true. So next one, a is b. A is b. So a and b. So both are empty square brackets. So both are empty list. Okay, clear. Both are empty list. So that's why it will return false value. Why? Because it does not have any value. It does not contain any value. So whereas in previous one, both x and y contain same values. So if two variables will be referred to the same value, then you have to use the is keyword. So if both will be pointing to same variable or same item, then it will go and return true. Otherwise, it will go and return false. So that is about different types of keywords in Python. So now let us see the next one is Python literals. So up to now, are you understanding up to now what are the keywords in Python? So we'll go to see all these Python keywords in the coming classes. So we're going to use all different types of keywords in Python in the coming classes. So but that is the meaning for all the keywords. So I will discuss remaining keywords in the coming classes also. So next one is literals in Python. So in literals in Python, it contain numeric literals or string literals. So the numeric literals contain integer literals or long integers, floating point numbers or complex numbers. So whereas in string literals, so the string literals contain single line strings or multi lines of strings. So the single line of strings or multi lines of strings can be called as a string literals in Python. So actually the strings can be enclosed in double quotes or single quotes and also the strings can be enclosed in triple quotes also. So in Python you have to use a triple quotes also for writing of a multi lines of strings in Python. So in this example, different types of strings are single line strings. Single line strings, it will be terminated uh, only single line, and the multi line strings, it contain many lines. So next one, how will go and write the multi lines of strings in Python? So this is one way you have to write the multi lines of strings in Python. So at end of each line, add a backslash. So at end of each line, you have to add the backslash for writing of a next line. For writing of a multi lines in strings, you have to use at end of each line, you have to add slash. So in this example, I'm going to write two lines. That is one is a hello and second one is a user. If you want to write a multi lines of strings in Python, at end of the string you have to use a backslash, and after that you have to write the next string. Then if I try to print text one, then it will go and produce hello user. So next one, triple quotes. So how will go and write a triple quotes? So str2 is equal to welcome to SSSIT. So I'm writing a multi lines of strings by using a triple quotes also. So then I want print print str2. Then I got the multi lines of strings. Welcome to SSSIT. So by using a single code, you have to write the single line statements, or if you use a backslash for writing of a multi lines of strings, or if you use a triple quotes for writing of a multi lines of strings also. So next one is numeric literals. So the numeric literals, it contain different types like integer literals, or long integer literals, and floating literals, and complex numbers. So the integer literals, it contain all integer part. It contain only integer numbers like 100. So it may be a positive number or negative numbers. It does not have any fractional value. So it contains only integer part. And next one is the long integers. So the long integers can be identified by using a L. So capital L. So the capital L indicate that long integer. So for example, I am writing a long integer 870328845 and followed by, it is a long integer. So next to floating point numbers. So the floating point numbers, it contain both integer part and fractional parts. So it contain both integer part and fractional parts. For example, 26.2. So the number is called as a floating point number. And complex number, so it contain real part and imaginary parts. So the number contain real part and imaginary part. So that number is called as a complex number. For example, 3.14j, or 3 plus 14j. So that number is called as a complex number. So it contains both real part and imaginary part. So this is an example on literals. So in this example, I'm assigning x is equal to 1010. I'm assigning x is equal to 10100. So it is a binary literals. How can you say it is a binary literals? So before this binary number, I'm writing a 0b. So I'm writing a 0b, and after writing of this 0b, then I want write binary number 10100. So what is a 10100 binary number? What is the decimal number for this binary number? So 10100. So then you have to write 2 power 0 and 2 power 1 and 2 power 2 and 2 power 3 and 2 power 4. So 2 power 4, it is a 16. So 1 into 2 power 4, it is a 16 plus, and 2 power 2, that is a 4. So 1 into 2 power 2, that is 4, and remaining value will be 0. So then I got the output is 20. So 20, 10100 for binary number, the decimal number is 20. So if you want to write a binary literals in Python, you have to use OB. Before that number, binary number, you have to use OB. So next one, y is equal to 100. So it is a decimal number. So it is a decimal number. So then it will go and print only decimal number only. So next one, z is equal to 0 so 215. So it is octal number. So 215 is octal number. So how can I say it is octal number? So before this number I am writing a 0 and followed by O. So O indicate that octal number. So next one, U is equal to 12D. U is equal to 12D. And how can I say it is hexadecimal number? So before that number I am writing 0x. So 0x. So x indicate that hexadecimal literal. So next one, float 1 is equal to 100.5 and float 2 is equal to 1.5 E2. And complex literal a is equal to 5 plus 3.14j. So then I want print x, y, z, u. X, y, z, u. So then I got the output for x, y, z, u is so it is a binary number, it is a 20, and it is a decimal number, it will go print 100. So it is an octal number for 215, the octal number is 141, and for hexadecimal number 12D is 301. And next one, I'm printing float underscore 1 and float underscore 2. Then it will go and print 100.5 and 1.5 e square. So it will go and print 150.0. So next I want print a value. So that is the imaginary and the real part. So 5 plus 3.14j. It is a complex number. On that complex number, the imaginary part will be 3.14 and 5.0. So it is a real number. So that is about string literals in Python. So any doubts up to now? So next one is a Boolean literals. So the Boolean literals contain only Boolean values. It contains only Boolean values, so true or false. For example, x is equal to 1. 1 is equal to true. So 1 indicate that actually it is a true. So then it will go and print x is true. Next y is equal to 2 is equal to false. So in Boolean it contains only 1 and 0. There is not 2 number. So that's why it will go and print y is false. And z is equal to 3 is equal to true. So it is not a true. So 3, there is no 3 here. You have to use only 1 and 0 for true and false. So there is no 3 number. That's why it will print z is equal to false. So next a is equal to true plus 10. So what is the true value? So the true value is 1. So the true indicate that 1. So then the a value will be 1 plus 10, that is equal to 11. And b is equal to false plus 10. So what is a b false value? That is a 0. So then b is equal to 0 plus 10, that is equal to 10. So any doubts here? Boolean literals. So that is about the Boolean literals. So up to now we have to discuss about string literals, number literals, and Boolean literals. So and next one is special literals in Python. So the special literal is called none. So none is a special literal in Python. So none indicate that only none only. It does not indicate as a 0, or it does not indicate as a true, or it does not indicate as a false, and so on. So it will indicate only as a none only, but it does not indicate as a 0. It does not indicate as a true, or it does not indicate as a false. It will print only none only. So for example, value 1 is equal to 10. Value 1 is equal to 10. Then I want print value 1. Then I got the output is 10. So next to value 2 is equal to none. Value 2 is equal to none. So then it will go and print value 2. Then I got the none only. So in the place of noun, none, it does not go and print 0, or it does not go and print 1, or it does not go to print true, or it does not go to print false. So the none is indicate as a it is a special literal in Python. So the none indicate that it is a none only. There is no, it is not a 0 or it is not a 1 or it is not a true or it is not a false. It is only none only. So these are the different types of string literals in Python. Uh, so the string literals are number literals, string literals, and under strings literal you have to discuss about single line, multi-line, and under number you have to discuss about uh, integer, long integer, and float, and complex numbers. So and tuples and a list, set, dictionary, all will be comes under as a string literals in Python. And similarly, these all will be comes under as a data types. So data types in Python. So you have it different types of data types like number data types. So that will be comes under integer, integer, string data type, float data type, long integer, and so on. And it contains string literals, string data type, and tuple data types, and lists data types, set data type, and dictionary data types. So all will be a uh, uh, literals as well as all will be a data types in Python. And the data types, according to the data type, it can be a mutable and it can be a immutable data types. So what are the mutable data types? So the mutable data types are list, set, and dictionary. So the list, set, and dictionary are mutable data types. And what are the comes under immutable data types? So numbers, strings, and tuples. Numbers, strings, and tuples will be comes under immutable data types. And what are the sequential data types? So what are the sequential data types? So the sequential data types are STL. So what is STL? So S stands for string. So string is a sequence of characters. That's why it will be comes under sequential data types. So next to T. So T is a tuple, and it is also a sequence of numbers. So that's why the tuple will be also comes under sequential data types. And L for list. So list is a order collection of elements. So that's why these three will be comes under sequential data types. So what are the mutable data types? List, set, dictionary are comes under mutable data types. And what are the immutable data types? So string, number, strings, and tuples are immutable data types. And what are the sequential data types? STL. So S stands for stringer, T stands for tuple, and L stands for list. So these are the different types of mutable data types, immutable data types, and sequential data types. So all will be comes under as a literals in Python. So any doubts here? So what is a mutable actually? So mutable is nothing but you can modify the values. So mutable is nothing but you can modify the value. So you can modify the values in the list, you can modify the values in the set, and you can modify the values in the dictionary. So what about the immutable? So immutable is nothing but you cannot modify the numbers, you cannot modify the strings, or you cannot modify the tuples. So I said that you cannot modify. So that means, for example, I'm writing a string str is equal to hi. I'm writing a string str is equal to hi. So now I want to try to modify. I want to try to modify str one. I want to modify the first index character, that is str1 is equal to I will write capital H. I will write capital H. So it is not possible to modify the single character in a given string, but it is possible to modify entire string. So for example, so I will write here str is equal to hello. Str is equal to hello. So now I want to print str. So then I got the output is hello only. So I got the output is hello only. So for example, I will write str1 is equal to hello, str is equal to hello. Then I want to modify the a particular index position of the characters in a hello. For example, I want modify index number 1. So index number 1, the character is let us take at 0 is a small h character and 1 is a small e character. Now in the place of small e, I want replace as a p. I want replace as a p. So then what happened? So then what happens? See here. So it is not possible to modify the single character in a given string. Why? Because string is a mutable objects. Sorry, immutable objects. So if you are trying to modify any characters in a given string, then it will go and produce the error. So the error name is called type error. So that means that it is not possible to modify any single character in a given string. But but it is possible. But it is possible to modify entire string. Okay, are understanding? But it is possible to modify the entire string. So I will modify the entire string as a capital hello. I will be modify the entire string as a capital hello. So now in this time I don't get any outputs. For example, if I try to print what is str, so print str, then it will print capital hello only. Why? Because for the first assignment I will use a small case letter hello, and I will try to reassign as entire string small hello as a capital hello. So that's why it will be modified. So according to the Python, according to the Python, strings are immutable. So that means it is not possible to change single characters in a strings, but it is possible to modify entire the strings. I hope you will be understanding what I am saying. So it is possible to modify entire this string, but it is not possible to modify a single character in a given string. So that is called as a immutable objects. So mutable is nothing but you can modify. Immutable is nothing but you cannot modify. But when will be possible? You can modify entire string. You can modify or you can reassign entire string will be possible in the immutable data types. So that is about different types of literals in Python. So this is a list, dictionary and tuples and sets. So we'll go and discuss this different types of data types in the next class. So up to now, if you have any doubts, so please post your query in the chat box and I will try to answer your queries. So up to now, any doubts? So if you don't have any doubts, or if you have any doubts, so please post your query in the chat box. So if you don't have any doubts, so that's all about today class, and we'll go and meet in the next session. Have a nice day. So thank you.